I'm not gonna lie, World War Hulk was an absolute banger of a story to read. So before I drop my Immortal Hulk video that's coming very soon, I decided to make a whole compilation of all the World War Hulk videos and make it into a mini movie for you guys to watch and enjoy. So without further ado, kick back, relax, and enjoy the whole entirety of World War Hulk. So the comic starts off with this narrator narrating the Hulk's time on Sakaar. And if you guys watched my last video, you know our boy Hulk was definitely going through it. But he was getting stabbed, burned alive, and his whole flesh was literally getting devoured. But even after all that, bro never forgot the people who actually put him in this situation in the first place. And that's the Illuminati, cause they were the ones who put Hulk in this rocket ship and had just launched his ass into outer space. And just look how they act when they realize they finally got rid of the Hulk. Them boys are smiling from ear to ear. Shit, even Iron Man was so happy, you can literally see his metal faceplate make a slight expression here. Like bro was ecstatic as fuck that he no longer had to whip out the Hulkbuster to handle this motherfucker. But after the Illuminati had thought that they had finally got rid of the Hulk, it comes to eventually turn out that the Hulk is coming right back to Earth. And Big Dog is not happy one bit. Y'all already know Hulk's about to get his craziest get back on all four of these clowns. Hulk lands on the moon and Black Bolt and Medusa just pull up on our boy. And the way Medusa is meat riding Black Bolt right now, you think Black Bolt's gonna put Hulk to work. But if you've read the comic, you already know how he ends up. Black Bolt starts using his sonic scream on the Hulk and the Hulk is getting pushed away and then he gets smashed into this rock right here. And then this buffoon, Black Bolt, had thought that this singular sonic scream attack was enough to finish him off. And then he decides to turn his back towards the Hulk. And anybody with a brain would know that turning your back towards the Hulk is basically a sign that you want a death wish. Cause Black Bolt hears a voice from behind and then turns around to see this big ass green giant getting ready to jump on him. And y'all, imagine if you were in Black Bolt's position right now and you just saw this 8-foot tall man that probably weighs 450 pounds getting ready to jump on you. Like, what do you even do in this situation? Cause I'd be sure as dead. The US military is detecting some strange activity on the moon, and before they can even figure out what the hell is going on, they then lose signal. We then see a scene of Tony telling the president that something has hit the satellites and tells the president to give some sort of order. But the president responds with, "It's too late," as we then see this spaceship hover over a bunch of these innocent civilians. And honestly bro, whenever some shit is going down in the Marvel universe, it's only specifically in Town Square, New York. Like imagine trying to enter your car that way you can drive your way to work and then you see fucking Thor lift up your vehicle and then just throw it at some villain or criminal who would then just move out of the way and dodge. Like not only did Thor just miss, but now I gotta walk my ass all the way to work. Like come on bro. The spaceship shoots out this big ass hologram of the Hulk and he just straight up snitches on the Illuminati to the entire world. And then he explains the reason why Hulk is currently making this broadcast right now is that the Illuminati sent a quote unquote bomb directly at Sakaar, which killed millions of his own people. And now since that's happened, everybody, and I mean everybody in New York has exactly 24 hours on the dot to evacuate and get the fuck out of there. And not only that, but Hulk is also requesting Mr. Fantastic, Iron Man, and Doctor Strange to be present in New York Town Square, because if they aren't, then the whole world will end up like Black Bolt. Absolutely cooked. So then Iron Man's over here in the middle of outer space trying to fix the satellites that Hulk managed to take over. But then this robot right here hits his ass with an AMP wave and he loses back control of the satellites. And I just gotta say, but doesn't Iron Man have like an IQ of like 250? How did he easily get outsmarted by a robot? Strange pops up and Tony tries to ask him to teleport Hulk to a different planet, but Strange is like, no, so he could tear apart someone else's world and come back even more stronger?
Shut your lame ass up, nigga.
First of all, Strange, let's get one thing straight. The only people who are gonna be torn apart is you and Mr. Billionaire Playboy over here. And second of all, who the hell even said it even had to be a planet? Me and everybody watching this video knows that you can legit just teleport him into a different dimension instead of a planet. But you know what? Go ahead. Let this big green motherfucker land on Earth and endanger millions. We then cut to Iron Man and Mr. Fantastic telling the Sentry to handle the Hulk. So he says, I bet. Say less. And just like that, the Sentry appears looking like he's ready to stand on business. And meanwhile in town square, everyone's just trying to evacuate the city until the ground starts shaking. And everyone's looking scared shitless, thinking that the Hulk just decided to come a little bit earlier. But no, it turns out it was just a false alarm, cause really it was just She-Hulk who was causing all the ruckus. And it's like, damn, is the situation so bad that they deadass gotta bring this dude's cousin? Like, making the Hulk fight his little cousin is devious work, but I guess they're gonna need all the forces they can get to stop this piece. Iron Man then shows up with this Hulk Buster suit on, and Spider-Man's like, where the fuck is the Sentry at? I thought you said he was gonna be here. But Tony says he'll be here when the time is right. And before Spider-Man could even question what Tony even means, his spider sense starts kicking off, and then the man himself appears. Mr. Crash Out himself, the Hulk, has finally arrived and is ready to beat the bricks off of anybody who dares get in his way. And y'all, what happens next has to be one of the best entertaining fights in comic book history. Cause Iron Man and the Hulk get straight into the action and then they clash with one another, causing this huge ass shockwave that causes mass collateral damage throughout the city. Even the helicopters are being impacted by the shockwave. And while Iron Man is tussling with the Hulk himself, he transmits a message to this helicopter nearby and says that the allegations are in fact true. He did in fact fire Hulk into outer space, and he is willing to take full accountability for that, which is actually really surprising considering Tony's character and all, but that's not the point. Hulk and Tony are still fighting in midair, and Hulk tries to elbow Tony, but then he retaliates by using his fist and smashing Hulk's head in. They then crash right back down to the ground, and Hulk tries to rush him, but he ends up being greeted with a right body shot, which would send him flying through multiple buildings. And keep in mind, while these two are boxing, the whole world is literally watching this fight unfold, and they are celebrating the fact that Iron Man's actually winning against a Hulk, shockingly. However, the fight still isn't actually over, cause these planes come in and then send these missiles directly at Bruce. And as he's getting hit by the missiles, he gets a flashback of his wife, Kyra, spending their last moments together before, well, the spaceship Hulk was on ends up exploding and murdering his wife. And after he gets this flashback, the Hulk proceeds to have one of the worst crash outs ever. I mean, just look at his eyes right now. This is a man who has pure, unfiltered rage, and you guys are about to see it firsthand right here, because he straight up bum rushes the Hulkbuster and leads it to smash into this tower. And Hulk right here just starts going straight into the Hulkbuster with full force. He was beating Tony's ass so bad right here that the building was slowly starting to fall apart. And while these two are falling in midair, Hulk is still putting that belt ass on Tony, punching them while they were falling and even uppercutting him. And after the building had fully fell apart, the only person left standing through the encounter that Hulk and Tony had was obviously, well, the Hulk, duh. And once it's shown that Hulk managed to come out on top and beat Tony while he was in his Hulkbuster suit, the issue then comes to a close, leaving us with a cliffhanger of what Hulk is gonna do next. Moral of the story, don't shoot the Hulk into outer space, because in the end, it'll bite you back. Yeah, it's time. After all the waiting and procrastination, we're finally back to talking about World War Hulk. And I don't really have an intro for this video because I just want to get straight into the meat. So without further ado, let's begin this story. So just to jog your guys' memory a bit, we left off with Hulk fighting Tony Stark in his Hulkbuster suit, and these two were just going at it. I'm talking about they were destroying buildings left and right, and overall just causing massive havoc and destruction. But near the end of their battle, they end up crashing into this nearby tower, and the tower completely falls apart and collapses. And after the destruction of the tower settles in, the last person that's standing from the battle between Hulk and Tony is the Green Goat himself, Hulk. So now we're in present time, and the Hulk calls in his warbounds. She-Hulk tries to come in and talk to Bruce, telling him that they could get this all sorted out and maybe put Tony and the rest of the Illuminati on trial for basically killing his people. But Hulk isn't hearing none of that. Mans is like, stop all that yapping and get to fading. So he throws his first punch, but She-Hulk weaves out of the way and clocks him right in the nose, retaliating back by grabbing her face and smashing her into the ground. And after getting slammed, She-Hulk's like, oh shit, we actually might be cooked. Ares comes in and attempts to hit Hulk with his axe, but he misses and ends up getting smacked. Now a whole battle breaks out between Hulk's friends and the Avengers, but while all this is going down, we cut to the Fantastic Four and Black Panther and his wife Storm building this sort of invention. Now I don't really know what's the purpose behind this machine, but I'm just assuming it's some weapon built to either kill the Hulk or just teleport him away, far away from Earth, I guess. Reed tells Black Panther to leave before it's too late because this isn't his fight and that he'll finish up the invention that him and Black Panther were making. But T'Challa says it kinda is his fight because the Hulk is literally coming after everybody, even people who weren't even involved with the Illuminati. Not just that, but since the Hulk defeated the Avengers, he's gonna need all the help he can get in order to stop him. But before they could continue their conversation any further, Johnny alarms the whole entire group that Hulk has arrived, and he isn't happy one bit. Storm uses the wind to blow him into this building right here, and the rest of the Hulk friends are seen attacking our heroes. And while Hulk is stuck on the ground trying to get out of the floor, Human Torch and Storm combine their powers together in order to blast away the Hulk. And this shit actually looks like it does significant damage. I mean, the blast itself was so massive that it actually blew away the Fantastic Four and a couple of Hulk's friends right here. But in the end, Hulk is still standing, carrying Human Torch by his shirt. And Ben, seeing this, jumps off this building and gets ready to square up with the Hulk. Firing off a right hook to his face, the two giants begin their battle, wrestling, throwing body shots, and overall just beating the living crap out of each other. And everyone's just witnessing this in complete awe and shock. But in the aftermath of the Thing and Hulk's battle, Hulk ends up getting the upper hand, appearing like he's about to finish off Ben. But then a bright light just spawns out of nowhere, that bright light being the Sentry. And when the Sentry lends out his hand to grab the Hulk just crushes his hand, because in actuality, that bright light wasn't even Sentry. It was actually the device that Reed and T'Challa made to mimic the Sentry in order to calm down the Hulk. But Hulk could really easily see through this illusion, so he ended up just crushing the machine and would also try attacking Reed. But just in time, Sue Storm would set up this invisible wall to protect him. Sue would also try and talk to Bruce in order to convince him to stop this whole mess, but he doesn't listen and destroys Sue's invisible barrier as he begins beating down on her husband Reed, before Reed would then start using his elastic powers and wrap his whole body around Bruce. But that really just does nothing, and Bruce just starts to wail on him right in his stomach. And hey though, y'all gotta admit, ain't shit fantastic about this one bit. Like, Hulk really just spaghettified Mr. Fantastic's whole entire goddamn body. Do you know how absurd that sounds coming out of my mouth? Oh wait, no, because this is just comics. This is probably just a regular Tuesday for Reed, a matter of fact. Also, I kinda like how even after Reed got his ass beat, his powers are still active. Like, he genuinely looks like some deflated ass balloon right here. It's kinda funny. Anyways, after folding the Fantastic Four and the Avengers, he's out here dragging their bodies across the street, and for some reason, these idiots still haven't evacuated New York City and are instead protesting against the Hulk, which is kinda idiotic, but oh well, who's gonna stop them? But amidst the crowd, Rick Jones is actually present there, and it looks like he actually wants to talk to the Hulk. And it actually looks like that Rick is actually calming down the Hulk. But then this evil bastard Doctor Strange starts sending these telekinetic attacks to the Hulk straight through his mind. Like, bro, this has to be one of the worst timings to attack the Hulk ever. Because after he gets attacked, he leaps away and lands into this lake right here, and ends up being greeted by Hercules and a couple other people. And of course, considering the fact that Hulk just randomly got attacked out of nowhere, he's kinda even more angry than before, and starts battling Hercules. Now in the middle of the city, S.H.I.E.L.D. overhears watching this all go down, and they seem to be reporting all of what Hulk's doing back to their boss. And their boss is actually to be revealed as the man himself, General Ross. And before we could see what happens next, the issue then comes to a conclusion. Anyways, yeah, this is the end of the video. Sorry for taking like 300 years to finally drop the second part of World War Hulk, but yeah, now it's here, so yeah. Anyways, peace. So the issue turns to our attention with this soldier saying that the Hulk has defeated the Fantastic Four and the Avengers. However, not just that, but a couple few civilians have managed to sneak their way into New York City because I guess they still think the Hulk is still kind of this heroic figure. But General Ross doesn't really see this. A matter of fact, he doesn't recognize Hulk as a hero at all, because every single time that the Green Giant is celebrated as a superhero, The next few months later, he ends up just reverting back to his old primal monster self, terrorizing New York City and causing billions of dollars in property damage. And people seeing the Hulk rampage through the city like an animal still decides to make excuses for him. Hell, even at some point in time, the general himself has made a couple excuses for him, because at a certain point of time, his daughter was deeply in love with Bruce, and whatever crazy and chaotic thing the Hulk did wasn't really Bruce's fault. But now that his daughter is now dead and the Hulk is coming back from outer space to kill all of Earth's biggest superheroes, he decides enough is enough and sends out the military to gun down the Hulk and kill him. We then go to Doctor Strange, and he casts this spell that allows him to mentally go inside the Hulk's mind, stating that now he's able to see through the Hulk's perspective and point of view. As now we see the Green Savage being attacked by the military, he leaps upwards and hits this nearby helicopter, causing it to be severely damaged and fall from the sky. And just as the helicopter crashes and explodes into millions of pieces, we go deep inside the Hulk's mind, where we also see Strange present in this sort of like spiritual form. Strange tries talking to him, but the Hulk isn't listening one bit and tries punching him. But of course, since this isn't Strange's actual physical form, the attack just goes through. Now going back from outside the Hulk's mind, we can see him punch through straight air, and General Ross, seeing this Hulk in this confusing like state, takes advantage of this by ordering his soldiers to attack the Hulk. But I don't know if it's because he's the Hulk or if he's in his own mental landscape right now, but he seems to have no reactions to the attacks, and if anything is more focused on Doctor Strange, telling him to get out of his head before he tries attacking him again. But Strange is like, bitch, do you know who the fuck I am? I am literally Doctor Strange. I could literally snap my fingers together just like that and you'd immediately disappear in a matter of a second. Your anger means nothing to me. But after that brief second of Strange just crashing out, he calms down and says that he's also Bruce's friend, and tells the Hulk to revert back to his human form, which is Bruce Banner. And so he does that, and he begins reminiscing of him and his wife together before, you know, she eventually meets her demise. And Strange seeing this is like, Bruce, yes, I was in fact one of the people that agreed to send you out straight into outer space, but like, dog, you know we've been homies since day one. There's no way in chance that the Illuminati and me would have anything to do with that explosion that happened on Sakaar. And bro, tell me if I'm lying right now. You and I have always been my friend and always will be. And reading this scene is just funny to me because what do you mean by we have always been friends and always will be? Like Strange, you were literally one of the people that agreed to launch your quote-unquote friend into outer space. You know damn well you don't give a flying fuck about this dude. And Bruce knows this too, because when it looks like everything is patched up between Strange and Bruce, Strange tries lifting Bruce up, and then the most devious, evilest look appears on Bruce's face. As then he grabs onto Strange, reverts back into his Hulk state, and crushes Strange's hand, forcing the two back into the physical realm. Now that Hulk has officially returned back into the real world, it seems like the military is surrounding our boy and is bombarding him with missiles and bombs. But now that he's back, the first thing he does is leap onto this nearby tank and tear it apart, using one of the cannons as a weapon to destroy another nearby tank. Now for the rest of the soldiers, they start dumping all of their bullets into Hulk in hopes of damaging him, but in the end all it takes is just one thunderclap from the big green giant and they're all out for the count. Then we see General Ross in this helicopter using this machine gun to attack the Hulk, but all Hulk does is just jump into the air and grab General Ross from out the helicopter, as they then are suspended in midair. Ross shoots the Hulk right in his eye before they then fall into the ground. We then go to the White House, and Maria Hill states that General Ross has now been defeated by the Hulk, leaving them with one singular option left. That option being the most powerful hero on Earth, the Sentry. And going back to New York City, we see the entire military get captured by the Hulk, and then we go back to focus on Korg and the Hulk. And Korg says that the Illuminati deserves everything that's coming to him, but Hulk still has the option of just ending everything right here. But before Korg could finish his sentence, Hulk rips open this roof underneath them and reveals a crowd of people cheering on the Hulk. In a way, I guess you could say that these people are, you know, on Hulk's side and are against the Illuminati, since they were the ones that sort of backstabbed him. But now going to where Rick Jones is at, he tries warning Doctor Strange about the Hulk until the Hulk squad pulls up. Hero notices that Doctor Strange has an illusion magic protected around his secret hideout, so he decides to destroy Doctor Strange's illusion magic, but is then promptly greeted by Iron Fist August, Ronan, and Echo, as they then start duking it out. They give it their absolute all to bring down Hulk's Warbound, but in the end, they just end up losing the battle. And as they lose the battle, they get these discs implanted onto their body and sent straight into Hulk's gladiator-like arena. Now Doctor Strange is in a complete panic because he senses that Hiram is starting to break through all of his illusion magic. So since Doctor Strange's hands are broken, he tells Wong to give him a box, and inside this box contains a magical potion. And as Strange opens up this potion, he orders a special magical being called Zom to live once more, drinking the potion as his body begins to change. Now going back to the Hulk, he's over here just sitting on his throne like the goat he is, and Rick is just over here like, Bruce, come on, you're out here making a gladiator-like fight arena for the Avengers? This is crazy. But then this bug dude, who I forgot his name, tells Rick that what the Hulk is doing is totally 100% valid, since you know, allegedly the Illuminati killed like millions of his own people. But as they continue arguing, Hiram then falls from the sky looking all battered up and bruised up, as then the Hulk looks up in total shock. As then in the next page, we then see Doctor Strange in this new powerful like form. But before we could continue the comic any further, it then comes to a close. Alright, well, if you're watching this video, then that means we have one more issue of World War Hulk before the series officially comes to an end. And to be honest, Hulk this whole entire series has just been fucking shit up. Nah, because I'm gonna be real, he's just been putting straight belt to ass on everyone. And I can't even really blame him too, because if any one of my homeboys decided to shoot me into outer space, I would've went back to Earth. And let's just say, everybody in that bitch is getting slimed out, or backdoored. Speaking of getting shot out into outer space, I really don't know why the Illuminati thought it was a good idea to send Hulk into outer space. Like, that's just a disaster waiting to happen. Like, you really telling me the Illuminati, whose members contain one of the most smartest people in the Marvel universe, never even once to consider the possibility of Hulk returning and just fucking shit up? You see, this is why they needed to bring Cap's ass onto the team. Because I guarantee you, if they ran this shit by Steve Rogers, he would have instantly rejected the idea without a shadow of a doubt, preventing World War Hulk from even happening. Because we already know how Cap feels about the Hulk.
In my day, we had a name for someone like you.
Yeah? What's that?
Hero. I've been watching you, Hulk. No matter how scared people are of you, no matter how much you're hounded, you always do the right thing. And that makes you a hero in my book. Now, how about we smash some more Hydra goons?
You know, I could honestly make like a 30-minute video explaining the relationship between Hulk and Cap, but I'm not gonna do that. All y'all need to know is Hulk and Cap are tight like that. Anyways, this has low-key been a long-ass intro, so now without further ado, let's go read issue 4 of World War Hulk. So the issue starts off with the president inside this helicopter watching over Doctor Strange confront the Hulk. And as we then go back to the arena, we see Strange in this new form. Apparently Strange is currently channeling powers of an extra-dimensional demon named Zom. Yes, you heard that correct, an extra-dimensional demon. This crazy ass motherfucker Strange actually sold his soul to a demon that way he could gain his powers and go band for band with the Hulk for at least a split moment. Honestly, if Hulk somehow manages to end up being the victor in this fight, then the Avengers, Fantastic Four, and even the X-Men, everyone's just getting screwed. Strange with his newfound powers attacks Hiram, but he's lucky enough to move out the way and make Strange miss. Hiram then grabs his blade and then goes on the offensive to fight back off Strange. But with the powers of Zom on Strange's side, Hiram's attacks would pretty much just be useless. And with the use of these tendrils right here, stabbing into Hiram's arms, he lets go of his weapon and gives Strange the free chance to obliterate his left arm. And Hulk and the gang look at this and are completely baffled, because high-key, they just basically saw their friend just get no diff. But after coming back to their senses, they decide to charge in and attack, knowing damn well they're about to put in zero work. Bro, even Strange is laughing at their asses, because realistically, what are they actually gonna do against the literal demon? Anywho, we see Hulk leap from behind and tries to attack Strange from his blind spot, but Strange is already one step ahead in the game, and without even looking, hits him right in the gut, hitting him again in the same spot from before finishing off the combination with an uppercut, which would send Hulk flying out of the arena. Now, going back from outside the arena to New York, we see a group of civilians wanting to see the Hulk. Luckily for them, their dream comes true, as we then see in the background Hulk falling through midair before smashing into the ground. And before this man could even stand up and catch his breath, Strange was already on that, and promptly made sure that Hulk's ass wouldn't get up by giving you these powerful ass back shots from hell. And after putting the beat down on Hulk, he hits him one last time before launching him into this close by building, which wasn't quite the best idea because the building ends up collapsing below the civilians from before, and before they could even have a chance to run away and escape, the building would have already fell apart and crushed them.
Wait, no, the people, the little people.
They're fine. No thanks to you.
I'm sorry. This much anger, power, hard to control.
Tell you what, I'll give you a lesson. Hulk smash!
That's what I'm talking about. This shit means something to me, man.
Oh, okay, Hulk, we see you, we see you. Hulk's about to give this boy a whooping of his lifetime. Turning to the next page, we see Hulk beat the crap out of Strange, delivering blow after blow, punch after punch, only to be stopped by Bruce's friend, Rick Jones. Rick says that Hulk was acting heroic when he saved those people from getting crushed by that building, which is odd because the Hulk doesn't claim himself as a hero. He claims himself as the world breaker. Being a hero is puny, like that guy, Bruce Banner. Unless, of course, Hulk is Bruce Banner. And being given this statement, Hulk just stares at Rick before deciding to finish off Strange with one last fist to the face, knocking him out of his form and leading to him being unconscious. Then Hulk says no, stating that the Hulk isn't Banner. Instead, it's Banner that is the Hulk. Which high-key makes sense if you know anything about Bruce Banner and the character's history. Now Strange gets hit with this disc as we then transition back onto Hulk's arena. All the heroes have now been captured and are implanted with this disc, which basically makes them Hulk slaves. Going back to one of Hulk's allies, she says that the Illuminatis were the ones that destroyed Hulk's city of Sakaar, but Reed says no and says that the Illuminati would never ever consider planting bombs on Hulk's shuttle. But before he could even finish his sentence, he gets zapped by the discs, as then we see a bunch of civilians testify against the Illuminati. Two of them saying that their loved one died because of them, and one of them saying that they were close to being killed because somebody decided it was a good idea to borrow demonic powers. Wonder who that could be. But after Hulk hears all the civilians say that the Illuminati are basically all evil pieces of shit, he decides to open up this door, releasing this terrifying looking beast that the Illuminati have to try fighting back against. But they're having trouble because 1, Tony can't access his suit, and 2, Doctor Strange's hands are broken, so he can't use magic. Also, Black Bolt can't use his scream ability because his mouth is completely shut closed, which means if he screams, well, you know, he's gonna kill himself. However though, even if they're all slightly weakened, they still manage to pull through and defeat the 8-eyed monster. But even though they slayed the monster, Hulk tells them that on Sakaar, he was thrown into the Maw, a gladiator training school where they threw him into a pen with a bunch of other slaves where they were forced to kill each other. Opening up this box full of weapons, Hulk implies that he wants everybody in the Illuminati to just fight to the death. Reed refuses to do so, but he doesn't really have an option due to the fact that the discs are implanted onto them, shocking the whole entire group of the Illuminati. Strange tells Hiram that now he's the person who's gone too far, but that boy Hiram does not give a fuck like at all. I just know Gang's still mad at the fact that he lost his arm to Strange. Now cutting to the Sentry's house, this man Sentry has done nothing this whole entire time that Hulk's been on Earth. I kid you not, this man has been deadass standing in his doorway for the past 29 hours. He's been AFK for a whole ass day and a couple of change, while his friends are out there literally fighting to the death, like on some battle royale type of timing. But while the Sentry just stands there doing nothing, he goes back to a flashback of him and Tony talking. The Sentry claims that he can't fight the Hulk because if he loses control of his powers for even a split millisecond, then a lot of people could be doomed. But Tony replies that he's scared too. But at this point, what does it really matter? If he does nothing, a billion people could die. If he does something, then a billion people could still potentially die anyway. So it would just be better for him to help anyways. Plus, it's his responsibility whether he wants it or not. And even though Sentry doesn't want to hear it, it's time for him to play God. Going back to the arena, the entirety of the Illuminati is fighting to the death. Storm and Thing try to help, but they end up getting shocked as the whole entire crowd cheer for the Illuminati's demise. Strange and Black Bolt duke it out, and in the middle of their duel, Strange chants this spell that casts him and Black Bolt to be both on fire. And as they both scream in pain and agony, Krug, seeing the Illuminati fight to the death, tells the Hulk that maybe, just maybe, they've made their point about the Illuminati. But one of Hulk's friends say never stop making them pay, as we then see Reed and Tony fight. Reed attacks Tony with this mace, but Tony just luckily manages to block the attack, using his free opportunity to hijack a nearby Death Head guard and order it to fire off a blast directly towards the Hulk. But Hulk casually just moves out the way, and one of Hulk's friends quickly regain control of the robots, using them to shoot at Reed and forcing Reed to go back to attacking Tony. And with the use of his elastic powers, he uses them to go behind Tony's shield and sock him in the face, knocking him over, as then he stands above Tony, getting ready to finish him off. The whole crowd cheering, chanting the words, "Kill him, kill him, kill him," which gives Hulk the choice. Thumbs up if he wants Tony to live, thumbs down if he wants Tony to die. And with that choice given, you obviously know Hulk's about to put thumbs down. And when he puts his thumbs down, Sentry finally flies out of his house, saying that now it's finally time to play God. Alright boys, today is finally the fucking day for the ultimate showdown between the Hulk and the Sentry. And before I even get into this video, comment down below, who do you guys think is gonna win this fight? The Hulk or the Sentry? Because the way Tony Stark was straight up glazing this man last issue, it kinda gives me the idea that Sentry might be the only hero left that can stand a chance against the Hulk. But shit, maybe Tony could be wrong, but we're just gonna have to find out right now. So without further ado, let's get into the final, last issue of World War Hulk. So the issue opens up with us refocusing back onto Hulk's arena, where we see Sue and Ben beg on their knees for the Hulk not to let Reed finish Tony, but everything's already set in stone. The Hulk wants Tony dead no matter what. And with Reed towering Tony with the mace in his hand, he tries his absolute hardest not to slay his friend. But with the obedient disc attached onto Mr. Fantastic's body, it is no use, and Reed forcefully goes in for the kill, about to bash in Tony's head. But just in a slight second, Reed would just barely miss Tony's head by just a smidgen of an inch. And goddamn, look at how big that mace is next to Tony's head. Bro was dead ass a second away from looking like a live leak video. Insane. But after almost killing Tony, he thinks that Tony's ass was smart enough to hack into the obedient disc and stop him from finishing him off. But that's not what really even happened, because in actuality, Hulk was the one who stopped him. And his reasoning for doing so is somewhat interesting, because apparently the only reason why he even came to Earth in the first place, aside from the fact that his people got brutally vaporized, was so he could get justice, not murder. His actual main motive is for everyone on Earth to know how truly evil the Illuminati is. That being them being liars, traitors, and even murderers. And just before leaving the planet, he plans to level the whole entire city, only leaving the Illuminati to soak in their shame and guilt. And after hearing Hulk's real motives, while still being at the disadvantage, Tony decides to stand on business and talks his shit, saying that they've tried again and again to explain the actual truth to him, but his ass doesn't want to listen at all. So now, this is gonna be Hulk's last and final chance to surrender before shit gets real. And Hulk gives Tony the most dead serious look I've ever seen before asking what will Tony do if he doesn't surrender.
There's no way out of this one. You're done.
Without any warning or zero indication, Hulk's shuttle explodes and crashes into the arena, as we then see our glorious golden goat, the Sentry. And with all his power and might, he tackles the Hulk and sends that boy out of the arena to the city, where they smash into several buildings.
You don't want this fight, Sentry.
Yes, God help me, I do, because you're the only one I can hit. Like this!
Alright, Stark, Richards, all of you, never forget, whatever happens next is on your heads.
You know, this issue of World Breaker Hulk made me realize something. And that's if Disney and Universal ever stop deciding to come at each other's throats, I am telling you right now, a World Breaker Hulk movie would instantly break $1 billion in the box office. Because what I'm reading right now with my eyes is actual pure cinema. The writers in this room were rotting straight fire, because this comic is deadass a gem. But enough dick eating. Going back to the elite fade Hulk and Sentry are having, Hulk stops holding back, and with all his power and strength, fires off the most powerful punches known to man directly at the Sentry. But Sentry, eating every single punch like it's just a light snack, says just once more. Before going in with his eyes glowing bright gold yellow, he hits the Hulk with all his mighty power and rips through the entire city in pure and utter carnage. Buildings being evaporated, cars being totaled, and the whole city block just being covered in total flames. My God, somebody help the Marvel heroes, because I don't know how in the world they're gonna manage to solve this problem. Actually, speaking of heroes, going back to the arena, everyone's like, Tony, what in the heavens did you tell Sentry to do? And Tony simply says that he told Sentry to play God. And you know, I think it's a little bit hilarious, because Tony earlier was dead ass serious when he told this man to play God, knowing full well that that shit was gonna blow right back up into his face. Like, what was Tony's actual game plan right here? Because I know Sentry was his last trap card, but why would he let a full powered Sentry fight an incredibly enraged Hulk? Like, isn't that the equivalent of letting two big ass tanks blow each other up? How are you not gonna expect so much damage and destruction from that? Like, I honestly think that's just goofy. Anywho, we see Hulk crash to the ground engulfed in a blaze of hot fire, and Rick Jones, seeing the battle that's currently ongoing, remarks that if these two keep going at it for much longer, then the earth is in threat of being destroyed. And this fucking ugly ass bug, Meek, says good, while the Sentry is over here conjuring up a massive flame storm that's probably gonna fry like everybody in fucking New York City. Krug and Hero try helping the Hulk by blowing away these flames, while Reed exclaims that Tony needs to use one of his satellites from outer space to stop the Sentry from causing any further damage to the city. And as they continue plotting their plan, and Meek comes in and protects the two duels from the raging hot flames from burning them. And Meek says his reasoning for protecting the two was so he wouldn't see another world die out. And while getting covered by Meek, the two smartest beings in the Marvel universe continue strategizing on how the hell they're gonna stop Sentry and the Hulk, but mostly the Sentry from destroying the whole planet. And then Hulk comes in the middle of the blazing beam of fire and says that what Tony and Reed are doing is clearly just pointless, because machines are not gonna stop this man. And in the literal heat of battle, he comes in closing towards his opponent. Unfortunately though, he couldn't even do anything, because the minute he was close enough, the Sentry would have unleashed a burst of energy point blank right towards the Hulk. Even so though, the Green Goliath would continue to push forward, every blow the Sentry lands carrying the force of 1 million suns, and with each devastating impact, Hulk Sakar's armor would begin to slowly evaporate into nothingness. Funny, all these years, I try to calm you down, and now at the end of it all, it's me who can't seem to stop. Goodbye, old friend.
Stupid. They can call you whatever they want. Savior, destroyer. All that matters is what you choose.
unleashing one big final attack that would light up the whole entire arena. Once the energy of the blast between Marvel's two big powerhouses would begin to finally calm down, we would see the two strongest heroes slowly revert back to their normal selves, that being Bruce Banner and Robert Reynolds. And once the fight finally came to a close, Robert would say thank you to Bruce before collapsing knocked out. Bruce turns his head around and then opens his hand out for Rick, revealing that now Bruce is finally back home where he belongs, officially ending the issue in the whole entirety of the World War Hulk series. Ha, got you. Yeah, nah, the issue isn't even over yet, because Rick Jones gets completely slimed out by Meek. I'm talking about he gets stabbed right in front of Bruce and everything. And you guys can imagine what happens next, because after Bruce hulks out, he starts giving out free cans of whoop ass, and Craig and Hero, knowing that Meek's about to get fucked up, tries to restrain the Hulk, but that shit don't work at all, and he starts stomping on this cockroach's head with pure aggression and rage, before beating the bug into the ground. But oddly enough, Meek wants to die, and that right there is when the big twist is revealed. Because back on Sakaar, before that shit got blown into Kingdom Come, Hulk was kind of a chill and peaceful guy, and Meek's weird ass for some reason disliked that shit. So one day when the Red King's former henchman planted a bomb on Hulk's shuttle, he straight up just let that shit slide, knowing that when the bomb exploded and killed millions of people and even Hulk's wife, that it'd bring him back to his rage and anger. And after the truth is revealed to the Hulk, well, let's just say it doesn't go good at all. Bruce, it's alright. We'll help you this time.
Stop! Without you, none of this would have happened. I'll hate you forever. Almost as much as I hate myself. Do it before I break the world.
God help us all. 3 meter focus, 1 9 millisecond burst, every 100 milliseconds. Target TS53, Anthony Stark, DUS. Commence tracking. Wait for my mark, and mark. Well boys, after Bruce finally comes back from being the Hulk and almost destroying the whole world, his ass gets sent to S.H.I.E.L.D.'s containment facility. Also, his friends are arrested and Rick Jones is also sent to S.H.I.E.L.D. that way he can properly recover. And in the end of it all, Bruce being trapped in this pod, he, for the first time in a long time, closes his eyes as now he can finally relax and rest. Now back on Sakaar, we closely see this green goop spit out this monster that closely resembles the Hulk. But before we could get any more information on this creature, the comic would then come to a close. Now actually officially ending the World War Hulk series. If you like this video, make sure to like, share, and subscribe. And ladies and gentlemen, I'm out. Peace.